Middle, Melissa Bartlett, and you will, Carrie Bigsby. It's your show. So tell us what you want to talk about. It's at the Round Table Podcast Show.
Man, coming to you live from, I would say centralized studio, but there's about 3 of them on here. So, what's going on, family? Hope y'all are doing well. It is the People's Podcast Show. We are at the Round Table Podcast Show.
That's right.
No doubt, no doubt.
What's going on, family?
Not much over here. Just, hey, middle of the week, counting the last days down to the weekend. All is good. Everybody's healthy and look like it's the same on y'all end. So that makes me happy.
Absolutely. You know
I
it.
concur. I concur. I will have to say that as well. But I get to introduce first and foremost the lady of elegance, the sister that don't take no stuff.
Oh,
It is
well.
Miss People in the dress, Melissa
Nice.
Bartlett.
Nice.
Hey man, I was writing it down, but I was like, man, I gotta get a dope one for it.
Hello to my brothers. Hello to our family, our viewers out there. As I always say, it's the middle of the week. My jump start is to do this podcast to get me through the remainder of this week. All is well here. I'm still in Pittsburgh, but this is my last week. For my friends and family that are tuning in or may watch this later, I promise you I am leaving. I'm heading back to Charlotte. Um, I'm just excited. I feel amazing. Sometimes you have to go through some stuff to really make you appreciate what happens afterwards, how you feel afterwards, what makes you, who you are. And when you can kind of look back and look at yourself in the mirror and be like, yo, you stronger than you thought you were. Hey, it gives you a whole new thing of energy and confidence. And so that's where I'm at today, brothers. Like, it's really been amazing. I appreciate everyone that's been calling and checking and texting and messaging and, making sure that, Pitbull's been good. I have been. And it means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. And I'm going to throw this on over to A Money. The country, the Southern Silky Voice, the SSV.
Even when he laughed, boy, it's smooth. Boy, you see I did it?
The Southern Silkiest voice
That's my
of
brother.
Adrian Biddle, A Money,
Hey,
my brother.
Hey, I appreciate the intro, family. I'm investing in clean tap water. So once that gets big, I got y'all.
All right now. Shoot. Well,
but,
money to be made.
but the man below me and Melly Mel, the guy that stirs the drink, Mr. Kosher himself, CD.
All right. What's going on again, family? I'm gonna tell you, like Sis said, it is truly a blessing when we get a chance to co-mingle our voices on a Wednesday. I'm gonna tell you, you just don't know what's going to be said, and we tend to go off the rails once in a while, and she reins us back in. So I appreciate that. But we're gonna have fun tonight. It's gonna be really cool. Tonight's topic. Oh
Yes.
God. Woo! I think we need this one, y'all. We need this topic. We need this topic. I don't know about
Especially
y'all.
for me being home. I mean, this is my old school area. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it too. Reminisce and go back down memory lane with some of this stuff.
Oh yeah. So tonight, family, tonight's topic is what happened to the old school ways. Now, old school is not a negative thing. I'm just here to tell you. I think old school tends to allow us to think back to simpler times and how things used to be done versus what's going on. So what we're going to do is tonight we want to hear your old school ways. What do you think about old school versus new school? Do we need to go back? Do we need to stay where we are? What are your thoughts? I got to start with Melissa because before we got on, she was dropping those platitudes. Another word for you. Those platitudes for the masses, boy, and we were like, "Wow, there she go." So, Mel, what you think?
I don't think that there's one or the other. I think we need to marry old school and new school. Because old school gives you what you come from, and it's good to remember. But the new school helps you not be stuck, you know. And so I'm always about blending the two, marrying the two, from clothes to family to traditions to music. Yeah, I think it's great when you can communicate to the new school and the old school. But the one thing that we gotta have respect. We gotta respect. The youngins gotta respect us, and we gotta respect those youngins. We can't just be like, well, we the old. You gotta respect these young cats out here because they're thinking and doing things that we never thought of.
That's true. That is so true. That is so true.
Hey, Money must be doing some research, boy.
Man, all the time.
Oh,
All the
he head
all the
down,
time, bro.
head down. You know he in there doing something. He about to pull something out. Do you know on September 29th, 19?
History.
Boy, if this wasn't a family show. Yeah. But just reminiscing and going back down memory lane, I'll throw the first one out there.
Okay.
Dating. And I think we kind of touched on this here and there over the last couple of years about the things that we did when we were youths in comparison to the things that you see now.
Mhm.
Uh, I started something as simple as opening the door. Now that's a lost art, especially if you're out on a date. Calling that individual that you want to go out on a date with. Instead, now you see people just texting each other. You don't really never see any conversations going on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
So,
everybody 30, like the generation 35 and under, yeah, they
hmm
would tell you what we need to talk on the phone for. Well, I mean, is it something serious?
Mhm.
Don't you just want to talk on the phone, like to hear the voice and have a conversation?
oh
Mhm.
yes, that's how I tell my boys. That's how you know how somebody is feeling. You can't get that through text messaging. You can actually hear in people's voices what what they might be going through or where their mindset is at that particular time. I said y'all missing out on the key things that y'all should be looking out for.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're right about that.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
And plus, with the young people, they don't understand. That's how game recognize game right there. Because when you can get on the phone and talk to a young guy or a young lady, and you hear the connotation in their voice and the emphasis on certain things.
hmm
You know how back in the day we say, "Girl, you know I love you." You can't get that in the text.
Nah, nah, I can't get that in the text. You're right about that.
And how about just being able to talk?
Mm,
That that too.
There's
yeah,
a lot of there's a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of young people that don't know the art of conversation or
Hmm.
vocabulary. They text so much that they talk how they text. It's,
Mm.
to me personally, if I was dating, that would be an automatic turn off. That you can't carry on a conversation.
hmm
Good point. Good point.
Totally agree.
How do you text? How do two be at a table during a date and they texting?
On the phone.
On yeah, just you know, head comes
I
up
don't get
only
it.
when they order their food and they right back down.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Mm-mm.
I don't
Nah,
get it.
that's
Uh,
old school. Come on, old
yeah,
school.
yeah. Feel so awkward even thinking of that or hearing it, especially seeing it.
Shouts out to Charlie Toods. Charlie,
Charlie
what's going
too.
on?
Hey, Charlie.
All right, Charlie. So tonight's topic is old school. ways. What happened to them? Mel made a good comment regarding old school marrying the two, old school, new school. Keep us old heads in the game and relevant. New school kind of learn from us. But what do you think? What do you think about the old school ways? Go ahead and chime in. I've got one for you. Now that you mention it.
Shoot.
Old school. Remember back in the day, we used to go out to eat, and it used to be like a privilege, or it was if you did something good in school, say for example, you didn't get all A's. Dad said, "Oh my goodness, boy, I'm proud of you. Pile up the car. We're going to Western Sizzler."
Sizzler. Oh my God, we've been trying to think of this restaurant for like 3 days. Oh my goodness, it was the Sizzler. Oh, me and my cousin have been trying to think of this restaurant name for almost 3 days. It might be even a week. We could not think of it to save our lives. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you.
I'm telling you, that used to be the joint back in the day. That's when you didn't that was Steakhouse,
Right.
before what is it, Morton's and Prime and all these. That was you had Western Sizzler or Quincy's.
I was going to say,
Quincy's.
did you guys have Quincy's up in Charlotte? Because
Oh yeah,
we did have Quincy's down in Montgomery.
yep.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep. That used to be, you did good, you would go to that, and different things like that. Nowadays, boy, kids, they got expensive tastes. What?
So my Bartlett Diva princesses, they were in middle school going to like Italian restaurants, and I'm not talking like Olive Garden. I'm talking about like Trio and what's the other one that's out there? They have a couple of spots. One on Eastway. There's one over in Arboretum. I forget the name of that one. Or I'm thinking like y'all going to Fridays? No, Mom, no. Like you're going to restaurants. The hibachi restaurants. Like you gotta pay. I gotta give you $30 for dinner. Like okay, like they're on a whole nother level. Like that's stuff we were doing in our 20s and in our mid 20s and late 20s, and they're like in middle school talking about they're going to a birthday dinner. Yeah, that's new school, old school, too much.
Or even just and money.
Yes,
You can
sir.
relate to this, bro, because we kind of talked about this and you kind of brought it up. Man, we used to break our neck and save our money for prom to go to those high-priced restaurants. I mean, it was big back then.
Yes, you are exactly right about that. Goodness, I'm talking about months. Months.
Months.
Yes, that's a good one too.
Yeah, man. Shoot. Nowadays, boy, it's just, oh, my goodness. Oh, Charlie just said this. Old school is my preference, but I mean courting, dating, committed, and or engaged, married, if you so choose. I think non-committal took over the younger. Freedom to do whatever changed the dating scene. Whoa.
That's deep.
Charlie too.
But I'm still kind of in a little bit of it, because I think the old school traditional way was kind of like making you feel like, oh, you got a date with the intent to marry. And especially when you're younger, it was one-sided for guys versus girls. And I taught my daughters to be free to date whoever you wanted to. Just be honest and don't make people feel like you're in a relationship that's exclusive. Hey, I'm having fun, because dating doesn't mean sleeping together. That means you dating. That means hey, I go to the movies with this one. I go to eat with this one. I've always encouraged my daughters to date before you became exclusive with someone. But old school back in the day, that was considered a woman being loose or free. You don't want to see it that way. And I don't believe, me personally, I don't take it that way.
Good point. Very good point.
Very good point.
Very good point. So basically, okay, yep. So back in the day was cold. You had to go and walk up there. You had to meet dad.
Oh gosh, that's the gatekeeper.
You remember that? Oh
Yes.
man. Ooh.
And I still feel all of that is needed when you're going to be exclusive. Like I
Hmm.
feel like that because for me, when I was dating,
Mm.
like you didn't meet my mom and my brother. If you weren't important, you didn't meet them.
Hmm.
When I like was feeling you and like, okay, I think I'm gonna take it to the next level. That's when you got to meet my mom and my brother. Like
So,
I ain't introducing to everybody.
but here's the thing, because now you looking at, for security purposes and such. If you're going out. Oh, okay, I got you now. I got you now. So you
Yeah, yeah.
probably like you probably like, oh, I'm just going out to hang out with some friends.
No, I would let my mom know, like, yo, I'm going out with so and so, you know, I'll be back. Like I'm meeting him near or whatever. Like she knew a name, something like that.
Okay.
With my daughters now, I need to see who it is. But me just seeing you to be like, oh, hey, how are you? Your name is, hey, yeah, my name Carrie. Oh, okay, hey, Carrie, how are you? That's different than me meeting you, like you sitting down in my presence, or we sharing a meal,
Mm,
or we holding a conversation. To me, those is two
okay.
different things. So let me
See,
clarify that.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a different perception from the male point of view.
Hmm.
If it was me and my dog boy, I got a shotgun at the corner of the door. I'm scanning your IDs, your social security card, and I'm taking a picture of your license plate.
I think that
Yeah.
you do. I tell my daughter send me a picture. Like if you're
Hmm.
going out, send me a picture of who it is. Um, most of their guy friends love me. Most of their guy friends that are like maybe trying to court,
Hmm.
yeah, they know Mama Bear does not play, and I let them know. Please don't let me have to do anything necessary because I do everything necessary.
Mm.
Plain and simple.
She be like, young man, you just don't know me.
You don't.
I
You
got a
don't know
history.
me. Don't know me. Let this smile, and I'll feed you too. But promise you, if I got to do something about my babies, this just no negotiation, no room for error. So please remember that. Have a nice night.
Mm. Charlie 2 said that depends. My grands taught me to date with clear intentions. Don't leave folk on. Yep.
True.
There
Yep.
True.
you go, Charlie.
Depends
That's
also.
it. And that's
Yeah.
for all ages.
Continuous conversation is key. Yes, it is. Yes, it
Yep.
is. Yes, it is. What's going on, Terry? Thank you for joining us on that round table.
Fair.
Oh, they are chit chatting on here. Look at this here. Oh, my goodness. Hey, it's the family show. I like this. So, hey, money.
Yes, sir.
Old school versus new school. What kind of knowledge you done dropped on
Shoot.
the sons over there?
Ooh, man.
Ah,
Uh,
I just said I have my own conversation in my head. Y'all know I do that. well, but it's a family show.
uh,
Yeah.
more so than anything is how to treat a young lady. You
Okay.
treat the young lady. Uh, what's the word I would use for them? Um,
Like I treat your mama.
that's a good one.
Yep.
But
That's
I
very good.
yeah, and that's a very good example, Melissa. I mean, you treat them like how you want to be treated times 10, especially if it's
Uh-oh.
somebody that you're interested in, and you never disrespect them. Hopefully, they don't disrespect you in turn, but just overall being a overall gentleman, and
Mhm.
Right.
that's what I try to teach them or have been teaching them to this point. And I am not the not the toot our own horns as far as them, but I think we did a very admirable job with them. I still to this day, I mean, as far as the hands that's been laid on them, as far as the grandparents, cousins, as well as myself and my wife and everything, as far as whenever we're in public and they
Mhm.
see a young lady or even an older lady come up to a department store or something or a grocery store, they'd be the first ones to open the door for and let them in, just like how we were talking earlier, or yes ma'am, no sir, and
Mhm.
and that's a lot, and you really don't see that a lot. I no, grandma had her hands on me like that, and she made sure that I respected my elders and everything. So in comparison to old school, new school, you really see an absence of that now more than ever, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm
Remember
not going to
that?
get started on bigging y'all up because that was one of the things that I admire about you and Carrie when I first met y'all. Like you were really gentlemen. And when you have a lack of that,
Mm,
there's an absence of it. It
mm.
stands out. And I've said on previous shows how, family Adrian used to reprimand me like we be
No,
going nowhere.
I don't think
Really?
what the,
You gonna say that? Okay. Like, what are you doing? Get out the door. Like, I got this, man. Like, get out the door. Or Karen be like, what you doing? I'm like, sorry, my bad. It's a force of habit. My bad. I'm sorry.
I know that's right.
I had to get trained on being in the company of a gentleman. Sorry. I apologize. I apologize. So I mean
silly.
it was I know that your sons do that. I know that they imitate that. It's a part of them because they see their fathers doing it. And it's so important, to say, okay, this isn't really about old school, new school. It's about this is how a man carries himself and
Right.
conducts himself, you know.
Mm.
So yeah, I got one. My cousin
Okay.
and I were having a conversation. So you know how they like to post pictures from like the 80s and the 90s
Mm-hmm.
of regular women and artists.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying how he prefers a natural woman or someone that has like just a little bit of makeup, a little bit, doesn't do all the long eyelashes and the huge long nails and
Mm-hmm.
just all of that make like he's like, yeah, they catch my eye. He said, but that ain't what I want. Like I like how women used to look back in the day when it wasn't that much difference from when they woke up to, he said some of these women look like a whole different person. They have so much on, you know. He's like he don't care for this
Mm-hmm.
new scare where everybody wants to look like they came out of a magazine shoot, just to
Mm.
go to the store. He's like, I want to see somebody with their hair pulled up and, boom, some Vaseline, call it a day.
I know that's right.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
true
that.
that.
That's a very good one right there. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, some. How can I phrase this so nobody? Well, people gonna get mad anyway. So, but
You want me to say it? I'll
no,
say
no,
it.
no, no.
Oh, okay.
I ain't scared now. Hold on. I ain't
Okay.
scared. I think it is a bit exaggerated today. Uh, and then at the same time, let me word it this way. It's ironic that it's so exaggerated when you have eyelashes that look like tarantulas on your eyes and you have nails about as long as Edward Scissorhands. All these things going on. But then on the
Uh,
flip side from that, you can go out to the store with a pair of pajamas on and flip-flops and a satin bonnet on
Bonnet.
your head. Huh?
Bonnet.
A bonnet. Yeah, a satin bonnet on your head and such. So
mm,
somewhere in between, I think the old school was thrown to the side because I know one of the things I used to tell my sons about this when living in New York, that a lot of times in New York, when you seen a lot of the Latina sisters when they go out, they went out and their hair was done and everything. And the reason why is because they were taught that if they were out and they were looking their best, who's to say they won't run into their future husband? Their mothers were teaching them that. And it was so different when I moved here to the Carolinas and seeing how we were laid back and things of that nature. But now, even with the younger generation, they've taken it to a whole new extreme. In other words, it's like here I am sitting in an airport and I'm looking like I just rolled out of bed
Literally.
versus here I go and I'm spending literally $400 or $500 with long yaki wave, tarantulas on my eyes, and Edward Scissorhands in multiple colors. So it kind of like is old school. But I can concur with the brother because sometimes you want that natural, like Mel. See you, see Tara, see Renee, see Charlie too. Terry. I saw Terry, my daughter, just the other day with short natural hair and it had the highlights of red, and it was so curly and cute. And I was like, "That's my daughter." I was like, "Whoa!" To me, that was beautiful. Not saying she, other stuff was beautiful, but just to see that, and she was just so comfortable and relaxed and everything like that. Somewhere we have to teach our sisters the middle ground, I would say.
Yes.
I tell my daughters everything is to enhance you, but nothing makes you. You are who you are.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm a big girl. I'm gonna want sneakers and sweatsuits over everything, but I know how to glam up if I need to. You understand? But it doesn't make who I am.
Right.
I'm who I'm gonna be. But I tell my daughters it's important to be presentable when you go out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna go out with your hair all over your head. It's too easy for you to take a brush and just pull it back in a ponytail. Just make sure, because a lot of these women out here, young ladies and women, and I'll say it, get mad if you want to. Y'all so particular about you look on the outside, but you're not taking care of the inside. Everything that you got going on in the inside is not healthy, from hygiene to what you putting in your body it's just a lot going on. So when he does get you home, because you pulled his eye from the waist trainer and the lit and all that, and he started peeling it off, and then it smelled like a hoagie.
Whoa.
What's gonna happen?
Not a
I'm gonna just put it out there.
Phone.
Just put it out there.
When you talking Subway, you talking about like you talking about like steak and hoagie. You talking about
it's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of these women. I have a lot of guy friends, and she be like, "Oh," she walk out the room, and they like, "Oh," and then they go and get it, and they be like, "Oh." Yeah, so you better start, because the old school taught you how to take care of yourself from the beginning to the end. This new school is all instant, instant waist, instant lashes, instant hair, look good. You don't want to wash up. Got wipes. All this kind of stuff. Like everything's fast. You got to slow it down. Slow it down and go back to the old school and how you took care of yourself as a woman. It's a privilege to be beautiful. It's a privilege to be beautiful. You should you should embellish that. You should relish into that, to say, I'm gonna take care of myself, whether you got on a sweatsuit or you got on a dress. Like, it's your privilege to be a lady, and they're not teaching that.
Yeah. I know Terry brought up some good points that you were clicking up on too earlier. I totally agree with you. Well, it's enlightening to see somebody younger who can, sympathize with it a little bit, to be turned off from what she's seeing now as well. And like that Lorenzo just joined in.
Yes, Mr. Lorenzo Williams has joined us. What's going on, brother? Hope you're well. Tonight's topic is old school ways. What happened to them? Old school versus new school. Chime in if you like. Drop a couple of statements. If you'd like to be on, we can send you the link, and you can join us in our Black Hollywood Squares format.
Yeah. But and then on top of that, kind of again, my favorite word, piggybacking off of what Mel had just got through saying, as well as you bringing up. Can't let the guys off the hook either, my brother and sister. We can't let the brothers off the hook. Man, where do I start? Where do we all start with that? It's
do we talk about the pencil-lead pants? Do we talk about the pants hanging off your butt? Do we talk, man?
Probably some of the most egregious stuff I've been seeing. I might get.
Go ahead, buddy.
It's just the hanging off the pants hanging off of me that just gets me. It just hurts me to no end. Nobody wants to see your drawers.
No.
I can only imagine what your grandmother would say, Mel. Your grandmother would say, CD. I know mine. Hey, son, she said, let me talk to you. She'll pull you to the side. Come here. Let me talk to you. Now, good and well, you need to pull your pants up. And then the most curious thing about this, Mel and CD, is
Hmm.
they do it wearing a belt. Isn't that oxymoron? I'm just I'm just saying. It makes no
That's why they
sense.
all walk like penguins. They all
Yes,
walk like penguins
it
because
makes.
they got them so right where your legs are supposed to swing. Well,
Yeah.
you can't swing, so they all walk like penguins. All of them. They all look the same.
It makes, and I'm not trying to make light of it. It's really more so disappointing to me that you don't think of yourself in a higher regard, such as a king or a young king coming up. Your
Right.
presentation goes a long way into how people perceive you,
That's
and you
right.
Right.
going out there with showing your underwear doesn't make you look appealing to anybody at all.
Not at
I'm
all.
okay with you having your pants, a little bit below your hip bone. I'm okay with that. I'm
We
okay
even
with
did
that.
that. We even did that
Yeah, you
growing
had
up.
your sag
Yeah.
look, you
Yeah.
was a little bit below your hip bone. What? I'm about to make
I,
somebody mad.
I
I'm
know.
sorry.
Go ahead. Go
Do
ahead.
it.
Both of
Do it.
What
y'all. Both of y'all.
dude that's straight, that is not looking for another dude to look at his butt, want his pants hanging under his butt? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. Sorry, friends, family, foes. I'm sorry. How does that look appealing? And I'm sorry, as a female, as a woman, if I'm
Mhm.
out here, that's going to turn me off because you got your pants right up under your butt. Like, what is that?
Now, go ahead, CD. Go ahead.
No,
Good
I'm just,
point, Mel.
I seen
Good point.
I seen Terry said old school didn't teach safety as well though, but I understand life was different then. Then she
Hmm.
said, my husband will sag too low sometimes and I call him out every time. I understand it's cultural, so to speak, but we're not doing that. I know that's right.
Mm-mm.
I
True
know.
that. True that. And go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm
Go
just
ahead.
dripping off of it. I'm just go ahead.
Uh,
I can't
you
take it.
you good. Just so many. That just hurts me to no end.
I can't
I
deal
mean,
with it.
I
That's a
know.
prison culture. That's a prison culture. That is not a black culture. That is not urban culture. That is not hip hop culture. That is prison culture. Okay, let's get it straight.
Now, my question too is the young men, when they're looking for gainful employment, are they going out looking the same
Some
way?
of them. Some
Some
of
of them,
them.
yeah. Some of them,
Wow.
yeah. It's
Some
I,
of
sad.
them.
It's sad.
yeah, it is. It is. I don't know if it's our fault, and I'm saying ours is being the
Yes.
generation above them,
Yes.
because it got to be, but there's no
We
way in the
take it.
world.
We do it. Yep.
Yeah, there's no way in the world I can let my child go out looking like that. I don't care if he's 45. I'm still in his ear.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I know I am. And here's
Anybody
what,
in my family, I don't play that. If I
yeah,
see you and your stuff is hanging down, I'm going to tell you to pull up your pants
pull up a
right
fan,
now.
put it
There
by
was
your
some young
belt.
men at church when they get from around some of the other people. I tap them on their shoulder. I say, "Yo, bro, like I need you to put your pants up." They
Yeah.
look at me. I'm like, now, like I'm
Hmm.
not faulting back. Like now, I need you to
Mm-hmm.
pull your pants up. Yes, ma'am. Because I know where you come from. You just trying
Heck
to,
yeah.
you trying to do something. No, if you in my presence, I'm gonna let you know to pull your pants up.
And here's what we need to bring up to these young people as well. And I'm tripping off of Terry because she said
Yeah.
DJ said I need to quit bringing him up at every show. Well, quit getting me in trouble. Hey, this is your wife's outlet. Pull your pants up then. Um,
It's all right, nephew.
I'm sorry, my bad. I had a dad
Uh,
moment. But
uh,
no, this is what gets me, and I think that the young people don't understand is the fact that they wear these pants that way, and some of them will have the audacity to like. I was out with Renee about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we were visiting a black business. And we were supporting her, and this brother came up, and you could tell he had money. He's gonna pull out a knot and stuff. So in their mind, they can wear acid wash jeans that have rips in them and have on a pair of Calvin Klein underwear with the pants sagging up under his butt there, and he pulls out a wad of money. And I'm thinking to myself, not the fact of him having a lot of money and stuff that he could afford Calvin Klein and he's dressing that way. But here's the thing: back in slave times, the fact that brothers had to share pants with their younger men when they had to go out and work in the fields. And if those pants got tore up and such, they brought them to mama or big mama or sister in order to sew them up, because they had to keep their hind parts protected because they stayed in the fields all the time and bugs and all this other stuff. The fact that we've came so far to now we're here and we're willing to share our and show our underwear
Hmm.
is truly, truly a disgrace to where we came from. I just don't get it, and I think we should do like Mel say when we see him, be like, yo, you know, mind pulling your pants up, you know, or at least to the ones that we know, because the other topic is old school versus new school. I think somebody just mentioned it not too long ago, when we used to be called sir and ma'am or yes sir and yes ma'am. Some of the young people, they don't do that now.
Mm-hmm.
And some of our
That's true.
generation is scared to speak up. Like if I see something wrong, I'm gonna say something. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I just can't. I can't. Oh, you don't
Hmm.
want to say that to these people. You know these young kids. I don't care about these young kids. I'm gonna
Hmm.
tell you, hey, let me holler at you over here for a second. XYZ happened. You know, I had an
Hmm.
incident with while I'm here, one of the young men that park on the street, and pretty much he wanted my spot, but I'm in the spot. High level of the story, it's like I thought she, I'm bagging in. He's in a car, this homeboy, and he gets out the car and look like, oh, you thought she what? Oh, nothing, nothing. You thought she what?
Hmm.
I didn't hit your car. I didn't touch your car. I can drive.
Hmm.
Something that you need to say?
Right.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good. Okay, that's what I thought. See, I'm not that person that you're going to intimidate me. I got 20 years on you. What you gonna do to me? What you gonna say to me? But our generation, they're like, oh, you don't wanna say nothing to them. I am.
Hmm.
I'm gonna
Hmm.
say something because you're not gonna do that. You're not smoking weed, and my dad has to get out. Like, go in your house, go in your car. You're not gonna sit out here and prop up right in front of his yard and smoke. I need you to move that down to your side of the street. Move that into the front of the yard. It's like, oh wow, yeah. Like you have to be able to say something because a lot of these young kids are only acting because they don't have any structure.
Good
And
point.
I blame media.
Ab-
Yeah.
I blame media for a lot of that as well. Even though
Absolutely.
your parents should have their hands on you regardless, and being mindful of what you're being introduced to. But whenever you see that that's the only type of you're trying to pattern yourself being young after something that's cool or something you think that's cool, and the only images that you're actually seeing, especially with YouTube being as big as it is a lot of these so-called superstars or rappers and everything wearing their pants down, sagging,
Hmm.
and that's who they want to emulate instead of some of the people that when we were growing up with. And now I sound like that old man. Like, get off my lawn. So the stuff
I
I'm
know,
thinking
right?
about right now. But it was true. We had examples growing up.
Right.
A lot of R&B groups we would watch and emulate, getting as far as just attire, and a lot of those groups presented themselves with class as well.
Yep.
But you don't see that. It's not being funneled into media, our, our culture media right now,
Hmm.
as and they're out there still as what it should be. I think, in my opinion, and I hate to get conspiracy theory on y'all, but I think it
Oh.
is a reason why the type of music that are being exposed to our kids are purposely being done, that specifically dumbing them down
Yep.
and make them less than.
Yep. That's it. You were saying money, and that's why the responsibility of those people who have broken through doors and down barriers that are now having access to the platforms to
Hmm.
provide a positive
Mm,
look and sound to African Americans and people of color. Is important for you to do that instead of playing the white man's game. You need to be making sure that our children, our communities or having exposure to other things than that. Yes, that's a part of us, but that is not who we are. And that's who Hollywood wants to keep pushing in front. That's who record labels want to keep pushing in front of you. They want our young ladies to feel like sex is the only thing they have to offer. They want our young ladies to feel like if you ain't got a big butt, you not a woman. They want our men to feel like, oh, well, if I'm not making money and I don't know how to pop pills, then that's it. I need to just go ahead and get fast and get rich quick. That's not what's going to make you have longevity in this world, in this life. You are absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And we got to do better. We got to do better.
And it starts
Yeah.
at home. It starts at home. If
I
you think
always
about
do. I always do.
Terry said, now old school was not as health aware as new school. Old school gets mad about weed, but smoked cigarettes around children. They had to make it a law to not smoke with the windows up with kids in the car.
Good point. Good point. Touche.
Yeah, but
Touche.
old school, but not to make excuse, but old school, we had a lot, we functioned in a lot of ignorance. You understand what I'm saying? Like we functioned in a lot of ignorance because we didn't know any better. So we weren't thinking because we weren't taught secondhand smoke. If you smoke, they're smoking. You know, until this stuff started coming out, it was like, oh, okay, cool. You know, I
Right.
mean, me personally, right here, right now, I'm gonna tell y'all this sound bad because I haven't had McDonald's in so many years, but I would love to go back to the blissful ignorance and taste of McDonald's in the 80s or 90s.
Ooh,
Uh,
you took my other point. I was about to delve into that, but go ahead.
I
Go
would
ahead.
love right here, right now. I could be guilty and take in part of that 80s and 90s McDonald's, those French fries, that hamburger, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't any more healthier for us than it is nowadays. But like, oh my goodness, I miss a good McDonald's meal. I haven't had McDonald's in over probably 10 years, but still, like back in the 80s and 90s, you're not gonna tell me that McDonald's wasn't the stuff. Especially the 80s. You're not gonna tell me it wasn't the stuff.
But that kind of goes back to what we were saying. See, back in my heyday, back in the day, we didn't do McDonald's all the time. And we didn't do White Castle. Like White Castle was the deal for us back in the day. And I'm talking like 60s and 70s. So back then, the food was a whole lot better. But we didn't eat it all the time. We didn't eat it all the time. It was like special occasions in which we would eat that. Nowadays, they put McDonald's in doggone high schools and stuff, or Chick-fil-A's and things of that nature. And it's like, really? And it's mass produced in comparison to how it was presented back in the day. I mean, you know, now, and even back in the day, the people that were cooking it were adults. Now you got like 15, 16, 17-year-olds that are whizzing it through the machine, hit that button, drop that fry, come over here, put those eggs in over there, and blah, blah, blah. Get your egg McMuffin. It's in that perfectly round, flip, shovel it out, put it on a sheet, put it over there under that hot lamp to keep it warm. Yeah, I mean, it's mass production now. So
yeah, and I think it was just different. It was just different on what they offered us. You know what I'm saying? Compared to what they got now. That's why it tastes different. It just tastes different. And I'm like, yeah, I can't. You know what I mean? Like it's just not the same anymore. But I think everything changes because I came from a single parent household. My mom, it was me and her until my brother came along. You know, we got McDonald's on a Friday on her payday. And that wasn't every payday. But it would be one of those days where we would get McDonald's or we got pizza.
There you go.
That was it. You know, you cannot just be like, oh, we're going to go here, we're going to go there. We're going to like, you had to have a good day in school. You had a good, you know, you did your chores. Like everything came with a price. Everything was a motivative factor for you to continue to do what you're doing. Now, unfortunately, fast food is these children's and these households' meals 5 days out of the week. Now you got to where you don't need a car because they bring it right to your door. You know, it's just so many different things, you know. So you kind of have a good and bad with the old school, new school. You look about and think about elders or people who can't drive, or they might be sick, or now having COVID, but they need something to eat. Those services obviously are great, but then with everything that's abused, it changes the whole point and purpose of it, you know.
Yeah.
True.
Shouts out to Amber, who just
Yeah.
joined us at the round table. What's going on, Amber? Straight from Cali. Terry just said, but that goes hand in hand with values. Women work more, parents work more hours, and aren't home to cook.
Mm,
That's
part of
another
it.
that's
But if
that's an,
you
yeah,
want to cook, you can cook. Cause
that's another old
I
school.
was that person that cooked for my children when they were
Yeah,
home every day, and I
every day.
had to figure out how to make it work so I wasn't getting stressed.
Yeah,
So, you know, I cooked 2 or 3 meals on Sunday, and maybe I just have to add some sides or something throughout the week
there
because
you
my
go.
kids had to eat dinner. We didn't do a lot of processed food. We ate out every once in a while here and there. Everybody hits moments when you're like, okay, we eating
Right.
out more. You start looking at the bank statement. You like, whoa, wait a minute, we
Yeah.
ate here, we did this. But as far as like growing up, and I worked and I had like a side hustle, and my husband worked, and my
Hmm.
kids ate at home. So
Yeah.
it's about that parent saying, okay, yes, I agree with you, Terry, but you also have to have that mindset to be like, okay, this isn't good. So what do I need to do? This is where we come in as a generation. We
Right.
say to that young mother, hey, sweetheart, why don't you do some meal prep? That's what they call it now. While you cooking this in the oven on Sunday, you have your crock pot going with this in it. So you got 2 meals that'll get you through. And then maybe on a busy day in the middle of the week or that weekend, you ain't got nothing else to do. Or you're gonna do a casserole, you do a meal, you do a crock pot, you just gotta make a side dish. Where's that? Where's that? That's missing. That's what's missing.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what? I would love to. I am thoroughly entertained with what we're talking about. I would love, and then we might have to write this one down to do, and just have a part two to this, but
Hmm.
with um, younger guests on with us.
Yeah.
Uh,
I agree.
Just
I agree. Because here's the thing. There's tips and tricks that I think that we as older individuals need to share. And it kind of goes back to what you both were mentioning as far as is it, really our fault. Um, but I think it's hand in hand because not only should we share the wealth of knowledge that we have, they need to be receptive to it. Because I know coming up, my mom, she worked and my dad worked. My dad worked from 3 in the morning till 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And my mom, she worked as well at working in restaurants and such like that. But we always had a home cooked meal. And it was special if dad was to go and say, okay, look, we getting ready to run up here and we're gonna go get some Hardee's or whatever sort, or like I said, getting that White Castle or whatever the case may be. But I think that was ingrained in me to even when I was, with our kids and such. Renee doesn't cook a lot. Um, so I'm the guy, I love to cook, so I always would cook, but I also help take the kids to school. Like for all the time, CJ was probably the only one I didn't take to school every day. But all the other kids, I was taking them to school and such, and it was getting them breakfast in the morning, and it was getting them situated, and then if they had to have lunch and such, and don't even start with the football practice, track practice, basketball and such, especially track practice, prepping meals and taking them out of town and things of that nature. Somewhere you have to kind of like find that balance, I think,
mm,
and that's what we need to teach them.
And
yes,
that's the old school, new school thing right there. And you two can contest to this. Old school, like our parents and grandparents, the men were not as engaged or as involved with the raising of the children as our generation.
true, true.
It was on that woman. It was on that mother
Hmm.
to like kind of do all that stuff. And then the men were more engaged. Like, I'm gonna take them out for football practice, or if it was you had a daughter, take her to the mall. But like being part of the everyday routine always fell on that wife or fell on that mother. And I do like that the new school, our generation, maybe one before us, depending on the age, um, the fathers are more engaged in the actual raising and the day to day of the kids. that part is absolutely great from new school versus old school.
Yeah,
Mm.
and I think it's happened. I would say from our generation going backward. Well, I would say our generation basically, because if you look at, like, I remember when try to we used to work with the kids a lot, and especially coaching them in football. And I remember seeing some of the younger mothers, they would just drop the kids off and go. And I even remember when my sons were coming up and we would be at football practice, the displacement somewhat. And I'll say it this way. Our parents, our colored parents, would drop kids off. The other parents would stay there.
Right.
And back in our day, we weren't taught that. You know, it was like all parents were there. We commingled, we chit chat, we talked. Yo, if you got something to do during the week and stuff, I can bring Billy home. You know, that's the type of dialogue we would have.
Right.
But it seems like the younger generation, they drop kids off. I mean, we were astounded just to see like parents drop kids off and then come back and get them, and they think they've done wrong. And it's like, no, they cool. They've been great. You know, so and so can do this, so and so can do that. So I think, yeah, that right there, I think the generation dropped it. They dropped the ball, and they just, you know, and I think it's unfair because now the younger generation now, that's how they were taught. So therefore, they don't want to really interact that way. So yeah, I think, you know, that's definitely something we need
But
to.
there are some good young parents. Like there are some. I see a circle, a change in the tide now, where there's some good young parents out there, some good young fathers out there. Even with their pants sagging, they are engaged with their children. They are engaged with their kids. They are, doing things because now you have more ideas to have fun. Um, so I can't knock all young. So I don't want to say young. I'll say some.
Right.
But there are some. There are some very fantastic young parents out there, 30 and under, 35 and under, that are truly making a comeback and a positive
Mhm.
impact in the Black community and the community people of color to be like, okay, no, that's on TV. That's a TV show. That's not what we do with our kids. We're not making babies and just leaving them. We're taking care of our family.
And we need that because old school, throw that out real quick. The shows that we used to watch back in the day, when you had the Cosby Show, and you had the Different World,
Family Matters.
Family Matters, all of those were geared around showing us the family dynamic is there and it can be there.
Yep.
But then it dropped off, and shows that were coming out after that was crazy. Terry just said also the cost of food has drastically increased. Milk and bread cost way more than they should. Meat and quality fruits and veggies, shaking my head, is crazy. It is. But here, I want to throw this out there to you real quick, babe. This is what I learned not too long ago. The same amount of money that we're spending to go to fast food, and then we're getting sick, and then we're going to the doctor, it's the same amount of money you could have probably spent, if not cheaper, buying that organic or going to the farmer's market. Farmer market, y'all, are incredible.
Yep.
Check out a farmer's market.
Yep.
And enjoy. Or if you really want to shop, which is what I do, I'll come from where I live and I'll come all the way to Charlotte, and I'll actually go to this Asian supermarket that is located on Eastway Drive, and they have all of your fruits and vegetables and organics and everything. You would not believe the prices on it. Crazy. And milk, since we're the only animal literally on the face of the planet that still drink milk after we've been weaned away from our mother, go ahead and get you some cashew milk, get you some almond milk, get you some soy milk. You can make it yourself, and it's cheap. $1.79, $3.10. I'm telling you, there's ways around
it. Hey, money.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Cashews, and I'm sorry.
You ain't tried. You ain't even tried.
I'm just being messy. But you're right. You do, that unfortunately, the farmers markets are far in between in areas where we need our people to have access to get it.
True.
You got little bodegas, corner stores, um, but no farmer market where they could get true locally grown vegetables and produce. So, we're still, this was something that was brought up in the 60s and 70s. We are still having these same arguments today in the black or urban communities. You know, every neighborhood needs a bank, a hospital, a grocery store, and police station.
Hmm.
And then you have your malls or some type of a, alternative shopping, and then a church. Like, but the basis, you need to be able to get money, deposit money, feed your family, be able to get them to some type of a medical facility. Those things are your anchors in any neighborhood. And you can't tell me that you can build them on the other side of town or in a predominantly white neighborhood where it is within, and these are people that probably have the privilege of having cars within a 5 to 10 mile radius of those neighborhoods. But you can't do it for the urban who probably do not have a vehicle to drive, and they're on public transportation, and you can't build the same type of structures.
Mm.
So why don't we revisit this again, though? And like I said, just have a younger group on with us. That kind of, I would love to hear their
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
how they view what we're talking about as well.
Get called old.
Yeah, yeah. And for everybody that's out there right now too, as well as what you were saying earlier, CD, and you were following up on too, Mel, is as far as show content. I don't know if anybody had the opportunity. Oh, sorry. I don't know if anybody. Yeah, I was looking at that.
Hmm.
Yeah, we appreciate that. The more the
Yeah, yeah.
merrier. Yeah, if you can get that, if you can send that information to us, we will certainly revisit it. The more the merrier. But I don't know if anyone out there, as well as y'all, had the opportunity to watch the Wonder Years, the reboot.
That was pretty good.
Hey, that
That was
was.
pretty good.
I'm
Yeah.
super excited because I watched the Wonder Years for the original. And
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
so, y'all have no idea. Super excited about mainstream television having this show on. Like, it literally, I was fuzzy and emotional a little bit. Like, look at this.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Old
Good
school.
content. Yeah, yeah. Highly recommend it.
Yep.
Highly recommend it.
Well, family, it is about that time. Believe it or not, it is a time which we do not like, but we have to because we have to get on with other things that are going on in our lives. But this show has been amazing. We ask that you get a chance, you can share this show. It'll be on Instagram one day because we're working on that right now. But it is actually on our podcast channel that we have through Spotify and Anchor FM and Apple.
Just so
And
many. So
yeah,
many.
a
A
lot of
featherer.
Yeah.
plethora. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And check out our website too. We've got all the shows on the website as well. So we'll put the link up so you can definitely click on that and listen to some past shows. Last week's show was pretty cool as well with Yolanda Powell. That was very good. And I don't know if they realize this or not, but we have a kind of like a facelift right now with our new logo.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Miss Amber, Star Robert. Thank you,
Mm-hmm.
thank you,
Mm-hmm.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
Diggy is touching your faces. Hi,
Diggy, Diggy,
Diggy!
Diggy. My grandson just turned 2 the other day. He is the youngest at the round table family member watching the
Yes.
show with his mom. We appreciate that. Definitely
Yeah.
appreciate that. And hopefully we'll
Yeah.
have another younger one who will be here October the 18th.
All right now. All
So fingers
right.
crossed.
All
All
right, all
right.
right. I just want to
Uh,
say shout out to um heavenly birthday to my younger cousin Darnell Jones. We are actually going to go as a family and celebrate him today. He would have been 34,
Mm.
um, and he was taken. Life was taken cut short, due to gun violence. However, I just want to shout out and big up my family. See you guys in a few, just to remember him and celebrate his life. And I'm super excited about what's to come for us. And I also remember how we had our family participate with the food. Since we're talking about old school, new school family,
Mm.
if you got any old school pictures, go ahead and post them up on the page. I'm curious to see. Give us
Mm.
some old school pictures, just some of your favorites. Let us see what old school wear. We'll do the same. We'll share some pictures between tonight and tomorrow, and
I
we'll
don't
add
got
some.
any.
Oh, this is gonna be good. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm down with it.
No,
I want to
there's
see
no
A
way.
Money back in the
You got
day.
some pictures.
No.
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
Yes, you
man.
do. You got
Don't
some
pull it
pictures from college. Okay, don't worry about it. You ain't got nothing. Don't worry about it. I'll contact Felicia.
out.
Don't worry about it. I'll contact Felicia. You just gonna do what you need to. I
Ain't
got
no need. There's no need for all of that. Hey, but before we go, shout outs to Charlie. Shout out to Terry. Shout out to Lorenzo. Shout out to Amber. We appreciate you all participating with us this evening. Y'all make the show go. Please continue and, like it's been said, share and continue to support us. We notice you and we appreciate you.
maybe one of the young people can help us with our Instagram dilemma.
mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because we trying to broadcast on there as well. Definitely. Hey, it's the People's Podcast. Whatever y'all want, we're gonna bring it to you. Man, a
True
lot of
that.
good comments and such too. Man, this is gonna be interesting right here to go back and watch again. So, family, we've got to get ready to go. We again appreciate you. Again, follow us and check us out next week. Stay tuned. You never know. We might have a celebrity on here. We might have the Black Hollywood Squares again on here. You just don't know because, again, it's the People's Podcast Show at the Round Table. Talk to y'all soon.